Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Jason Cappuccino, Sashes&Scripts, and today we will be talking about the analysis or our thoughts on the preliminary and the finals performance of our Miss Universe Philippines, Beatrice Luigi Gomez. So stick around for this very interesting topic. After 2 years of placing only at the top 21 or top 20 of the Miss Universe pageant, the Philippines is now back at the top 5 of the competition, with Beatrice Luigi Gomez performing a commendable performance in the pageant overall. While we commend her for a very high placement, we also wanted to point out that her campaign for the Miss Universe wasn't necessarily perfect. It had flaws, it had areas that she delivered strongly, but there are definitely areas that she could have improved on in terms of her personality, in terms of her delivery, in terms of her preparedness. And I think that for this video, we are going to address several of the things that she did right and she did wrong in the pageant that pageant girls can learn from, especially for Filipina pageant girls who are going to be competing in the nationals this coming first or second quarter of 2022. So stick around because we're going to be pointing a lot of areas that every pageant girl can use to improve themselves upon based on Bea's performance at the Miss Universe pageant. First on the list is Bea's overall campaign, whether it's styling, social media, wardrobe, and other stuff that comprises her Miss Universe campaign. And I think that on the social media front, there is a lot of things that can be desired from Bea in terms of giving updates, on giving us a clue on who she is as a person. Because a lot of the times when we look at her social media, it is not necessarily regularly updated, or that her activity is mainly relegated on Instagram stories. And I think that is a missed opportunity for her not to give us a little bit more of who she is, what she is passionate about, what she is involved with in terms of her social media timeline in her Instagram feed. I think that the three top winners of the Miss Universe this year was able to manage a very successful social media campaign with a lot of really interesting posts on the girls. They were able to not only post OOTDs and glam shots and everything that you would want to look at on the beauty side of pageantry, but they are also able to give a little bit more information about who they are as a person, what are they passionate about, what are their accomplishments, what are the things that makes them who they are as a person. And I think Harnaz Sandu, Nadia Ferreira, and Lalela Mswani were able to do that in their social media feeds. And I think with the pronouncement on IG stories by Iris Nitiner, who is Miss Universe 2016 and a judge this year, that after looking at the profiles of the Miss Universe candidates, she now goes to social media to look upon the girls on their accounts for more background information on the girls. And I think it is a missed opportunity for Bea to use social media as a marketing tool to really boost herself into the competition. I believe that Harnaz and Nadia making top 2 in this year, they were the two most very active ladies on social media with their Instagram really filled with a lot of what they are going on, what are they doing during the entire pageant. And I think that that builds community with their followers, that builds connection with people who want to see them on their social feeds. And I also think that it is not a coincidence that this year the Miss Universe website posted their Instagram handles on their profile bios. So I believe that is a very strategic and very purposeful way of letting people know more of the girls in their social media feeds. Bea also had some hits and misses in the wardrobe department. Granted that her styling is not always at par with what we have accustomed to in terms of pageant styling. It does not. Some of her outfits does not necessarily give her the advantage, or does not necessarily portray her in the best light. Some of her styling choices were a little bit too much in terms of balance and harmony. There's some wardrobe choices that were not necessarily very effective. So I think that when titas of pageantry called her styling out, I think the intention there was to shake her up or to shake her team up on the way that she is styled, because I believe that after that controversy, or after that very very public public discussion on her wardrobe and her styling, the way that she's styled suddenly improved, suddenly became more clean, a little bit more polished, a little bit more perfect for her personality and for her campaign for the Miss Universe for the Miss Universe crown. And I think that overall, the styling, although there were a lot of misses, there were also a lot of hits, a lot of good, clean styling that I think she was able to do in her in the competition. Now, in terms of her competition wardrobe, I believe that she had one of the best gowns, the best national costumes in the mix. In terms of her competition styling, I think it was on point. Her Bakunawa costume was one of the best national costumes in the competition. I think it was perfectly done. The accessories, the hairpiece, the headpiece, the dragon on her shoulders, they were all very well crafted. In fact, I think that she could have won the best in national costume with a national costume that is similar to the two birds on the shoulder national costume that Gazzini won in 2019. However, I think the styling was on point, and I think that was the best thing that matters. It wasn't a scored competition, so it doesn't really add on to her chances in winning Miss Universe. Now, in terms of her gowns, I think that the gold finals gown was the best choice that she could have had. The red number that she wore during the prelims wasn't styled properly with her hair. I think that her styling at the finals was a little bit more on point. I would have loved her in soft curls, so that it would soften her very angular jawline, so that it softened her features a little bit more. But with the straight hair, you cannot really go wrong with that styling, because that has been her trademark look since Miss Universe Philippines in earlier in around October. In terms of her overall performance, however, though, I think that her finals was a little bit stronger, or if not a lot stronger than her prelims. I have seen several bloggers critique her in her performance during the finals, where she held back a little bit, or maybe she was feeling under the weather, or perhaps it was too timid for a Miss Philippines representative. And I understand their point, because I always believe that always do your best, always wear your best gown in the prelims, because you are going to compete with around 80, 90, or even sometimes 100 candidates for a spot at the finals. And usually those spots would range between 20 to 15. And if you are going to compete with a lot of ladies, you might as well give your best in the preliminaries, because that is where the first cut is being made. The cut is too huge for it to merit not giving it your best. And in terms of the performance for Bea, I think that because the Philippines has already established a strong following, a strong sash factor in the pageant, it doesn't necessarily matter whether or not we have a safe performance or we have a strong performance in the prelims. I believe that at this point in time, we are like Venezuela and the USA, that we are always guaranteed a spot at the finals. So I think that worked on Bea as an advantage. However, I don't think that we should be relying on that strong sash factor, that we will always fall back on it and not really deliver when we are expected to deliver. I think on the finals, she was able to deliver more of what was expected of her as compared to the prelims, and I think that she was able to redeem herself in the eyes of of pageant critics, because not a lot of pageant critics necessarily gave her very glowing reviews for her preliminary performance. But the finals performance, though, I think she really enjoyed her moment on stage. I think she had strong performances on the swimsuit and the evening gown competition, so it wasn't very surprising that she made top 5. I also believe that judges had a hand in Bea making it into the semis. I think that Marian Rivera and Iris Mitiner, with their Filipino connection, were able to, boost her chances in making into the top 16. And I think that we need to acknowledge that Bea was also able to deliver despite having 2 judges in her favor. I think that a lot of the hard work was done by Bea on the preliminary competition, especially perhaps on the closed-door interviews, because that is where 60% of their scores would come from. If you're able to charm your way to the judges in the preliminary competition, the closed-door preliminaries, then you are able to more likely, make it into the semis, provided that you don't screw up on the performance aspects on the swimsuit and the evening gown competition. Now, in terms of her top 5 performance, I think that Bea being nervous at this point is understandable. It is human. However, I do not believe that she wasn't prepared, or rather, I cannot believe that she wasn't prepared for a very in-the-now topic, for a very current topic, especially with the vaccines and the vaccine passport. I think that the fact that she mentioned in several interviews, and it was even written on PEP-PH and on ABS-CBN, that she admitted that she was taken aback, that she was surprised a little bit with the question that she had, speaks volumes on her preparedness for the Q&A and for the interview aspect, for the speaking portion of the competition. Perhaps on interviews, on one-on-one interviews, her timid personality, her more laid-back personality would appear to be more conversational. However, for a question and final round at the pageants, you really need to stand with conviction with what are you saying. You should be able to verbalize your thoughts in a very eloquent, in a very well-composed manner, and I think Bea wasn't able to do that. Bea answered in circles, and I think that she really fumbled on the question. And the question was a basic yes or no answer that she could have expounded more on. Her question was about the mandating of vaccine passports. Does she agree with that? If she agrees with that, then she needs to say why. If she doesn't agree with that, then she needs to reason out what are the reasons for her hesitation. I think with her answer, which was on the affirmative side, was a strong indication that she has thought about it, but wasn't able to follow it through with strong ending and its strong content on her answer. Her delivery as well was a little bit shaky, was a little bit unsure, and I think that really cost her a spot on the top 5. I think what she could have done was to say yes. She believes in the mandating of vaccine passports, because ultimately, the rights of one person shouldn't negate the safety of everybody else in his community or in his country. And I think that would have been a great answer to a very controversial question, simply because this question might interfere with one's human rights on non-discrimination. And I think that was an opportunity for her that she wasn't able to really deliver on. However, I am glad that despite all of this, she was still able to bring back the Philippines in the top 5 of the Miss Universe competition. We're quite glad that despite the polarizing thoughts on our Filipina reps this year, we were able to come up with a good finish to the international pageant season. I think with the top 5 finish this year, we need to be a little bit more open to critiques, open to other people's opinions about our campaign, so that we can pivot, because I think that is one of the things that Bea was able to do after the criticism on her styling, the criticism on the critique on the things that she's wearing. And overall, I think that the pageant girls who are going to be joining Binibining Pilipinas or Miss Universe Philippines or even Miss Philippines Earth later this year, they can learn from how a strong competitor is able to pivot, able to make changes during the competition when the things that they have planned to do is not working. I think ultimately we need to learn from the experience. We need to be able to learn from the mistakes that Bea and her team did, as well as the things that Bea and her team did right. I believe that the Philippines will continue only to grow further and grow farther from from these mistakes if we take into account the things that other people are saying and not take it personally as an attack. Because when we listen to critiques, that's the time that we can improve on the areas that they see that we probably do not see. Great feedback and great critiques do not come very often, and therefore they need to be able to process this not as attacks to their personality or to their persona. I think that the Philippines is still a pageant powerhouse only if we are able to pivot and re-strategize with how the pageant has continuously evolved throughout the years. And this is not going to be the last thing that we will be needing to adjust on. I think in the future there will be more changes to come, and we need to be able to make changes accordingly. That's it for this video. I hope that you've loved this discussion, and I hope that you've learned from this, and I hope that you keep on helping me grow this channel by subscribing, by hitting the notifications bell, and by sharing our videos to your friends. So I hope to see you again soon in our next video, in our next episode, and please do take care and have a wonderful holidays ahead. Bye everyone.